Welkom beste mensen bij wederom een uitzending van Eemland on the Move. En vandaag hebben we weer een terugkerende gast, the one and only Gareth Davies. You really look forward to these little chats, don't you?
I certainly do.
Yeah. It's actually the sole purpose of your existence, almost.
Almost.
Yeah. That latter one was more or less.
I've waited quite a while to be called up, I think.
Yeah.
I was a bit disappointed there were so many people before me.
But no, okay.
I'm happy I'm here now. Genuinely.
That's a very British answer.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Gareth, we're in the new season. We didn't got time to speak last year. This year, obviously the coaching staff has changed. What are for you the major differences and starting points if you look at the last year and this year?
I think they've reinforced the coaching staff. We're very well positioned to deliver a lot of good stuff this season. The players are young and keen to learn, and I think it's a process sort of getting these guys towards the end of the season in great shape. And so far everything seems to be working well. Futures are looking very good. Still a long way to go. Still a lot of work to do in terms of turning individuals into teams and making things work. But the Gooi result on the weekend, although disappointing in the result, the actual performance and looking at the stats and looking at how we performed, that was, albeit for a few mistakes, really, really good, and where we want to be.
What was it? What did we drop the ball at the end? My opinion on the side, and that's far from professional, obviously, but it looked like that het Gooi was they were a little bit more aggressive, and they were a little bit more diverse in their game, and technically slightly more sound. Was that true or not?
It could be that they definitely brought the support with them, and they got a lot from the sidelines. But I think for us, it was. For the first 10 minutes, we played a lot of individual work. We didn't really stick to the system. We got back to that system for the next 40. And in the last half hour, I think we made some changes. People were tired, and it was very difficult to stick to the system. And I think when you're tired, you break from the system and you go on your own. And that showed. And that's what we're going to work on in terms of the next, 3 months or so.
It needs to be instinct and more or less automatic reflex what you should be doing.
Yeah, and I think one of the things is if your defense is failing, it's either a system error, individual error, or a work rate error. I can't fault them on work rate. I can't really fault them on individual errors. It's just that they didn't work hard in the system, and hey, we'll get there. I think that's a good thing.
And is that because if I look now, there's quite an influx of players in the futures, right? There's a lot of new ones there.
A lot of new guys, a lot of young guys.
Yeah, it's very young.
And from Colts rugby to senior rugby is a big. It's a big step up in physicality, but it's also a big step up in gameplay and understanding the game. And what you would have got away with in Colts is very quickly punished in futures and senior rugby. And I think that's something you got to learn for yourself. You can't really watch somebody else and learn that.
No, indeed. It's learning by doing, indeed. Yeah. It's experience that counts. But do you see that these guys realize that and actually come to you and say, hey, coach, what's...
Sometimes, but I think one of the things is we're getting a lot more time with the players and with being able to share clips and work with them, getting closer to understanding where they are and managing their expectations, really. Because I think it's very difficult because things come a lot easier to guys nowadays in terms of, it's like there's a lot of privilege rather than entitlement, and I think there's a lot of hard work going on, and we're gonna reward that. Yeah, no,
that's indeed that's in essence, it's a bit of old guys talking about youth that they think they're already almost there, while there's a massive way ahead of them before they're even close to where they should be.
No, for sure. And I think, if we just measure it on just decision-making, a more experienced player will make the right decision 9.5 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And a younger player is less likely to do that.
Yeah.
And may have all of the attributes of the play, but the decision-making and the speed to make that decision perhaps isn't there yet because it's not been tested. It doesn't get tested at Colts level.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Well, we've got some. I just had a conversation last Saturday with a father and his son that wanted to get dispensated for the front row for the second year, but he said, "Yeah, we can only do it in January." Well, I now got the whole story, so there's more nuance to it. But I saw the guy coming. So yeah, he's heavy, but the first glance I could see he didn't spend a day at the gym. So, mate, you can be heavy, but that doesn't help. You really need to invest in yourself to be able to perform and to make a difference.
For sure, and I think it's becoming ever more necessary as well, just to kind of get through the season, to get through games. A front row player, 50 minutes probably is the top, and that's a lot of work in 50 minutes. And the pressures from scrumming, the pressures from just open play is getting harder and harder, and also shifting 120 kilos around the field is also hard work. And I think they underestimate that. There's not as many places to hide, and I think it's safer if they come into that sort of thing slowly. No, indeed.
Therefore, the futures have been created. I really believe they are serving a purpose. I personally sometimes see that these young players are put in the first team, to my opinion, but again, too quick. Let them really get some confidence in the futures, build there, and then make that step so it's easier. Because indeed, the step from juniors to future/senior rugby is one, but then there's another massive step between the futures and the first team, which is, again, another total different level, isn't it?
There is, and I think, if you're looking at it, I think it's no surprise that Marcus Smith gets picked to play for England at 18, 19 years old, because he's been through a system where he probably played, I don't know, he did 5 or 6 sessions a week since he was 12. So he's done that sort of the flight time to get there. And I think, if you're a club player and you've played twice a week since you were 14, it's very difficult to then sort of come to the futures and think that that's the next step. But actually, it's a very big next step. And you're playing against guys that come from academies, guys that have worked, five times a week and have worked on their physicality, worked on their mental strengths, worked on their game, in a much broader sense, that, it's not just turning up on Tuesday and Thursday and playing a game on Saturday. And I think that's what we've got to instill in the younger guys, because it is hard work to keep it going for a full season. It's a long season. We go from September to May, right?
Indeed, it is a long season, although we also have a bit of a relatively long break for half of December up till the end of Feb.
That's true. But it's not really
a break.
And it's difficult to restart when it's cold. I think pre-season's nice in August.
That helps.
Somewhat different in the middle of February.
It's cold, rainy, and wet.
Even as a coach, I have to say. But even as a coach, but yeah.
No, it is. It's a total different game. That's true. What I also find interesting when we're doing the rounds, we've recently been around in Hoek and in Diehoek, and they very well know you down there. I was surprised when Hoek I was actually commentating, and they had a lot to say. I'm
surprised that, I'm happy that it was all positive.
Well, that's what you say. But
you obviously spoke to the wrong people.
No. Obviously.
I started out at Delft a long while ago, and did their Colts, and then their Colts clustered with Rotterdam and Hoek.
That's Gerard who did that, right?
Yes. And then after that, Glenn asked if I'd come and help work with the second team. And do some work with the forwards, and then I was there for 3 years. I think.
At Diehoek. Hoek.
No, Hoek.
Hoek. Okay.
And then I went to Diehoek for a season. And learned a lot there. Played with them, and then obviously,
You came to Eemland.
Then I spoke with Mitch. I knew Mitch a long time ago. He came before he came here, I think. Not the first time he came here, the second time he came.
Okay.
So he came over for a cup of coffee, and I know him from there when I was at the Hook, actually.
Okay, cool. So that's good.
So that's how I think part of the reason how I got here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's you make it more than a hobby, because it's your second year in now, isn't it?
There's no going back.
No. once you go Eemland, you don't go back. That's is that what you're saying?
That's true, and I've obviously tried very hard to avoid you, and I didn't manage that.
No, you weren't successful. Well, we have to give
thanks for your persistence.
props.
Thanks for your persistence.
I'll keep on pounding the door until it breaks down. But again, we also will have the new chairman of the National Rugby Union here too. So you're in good company. Let's put it like that. We also had the director of rugby now from the Netherlands also in our podcast. So it's broadening, and so everybody is adding their wisdom to this beautiful little channel. If you look at that,
this camera's just on me right now. It's gonna. Yep.
Is it because you've got a dedicated camera? You can't really say what.
Oh, I'm used to that. Don't worry. No.
And you really try to avoid. So if you look at the mission, indeed, well, we're indeed what I can see the big difference this year, and we've suffered both last year with Delft. At Delft was the rock bottom. We more or less ended up. I don't think we're going to have a scenario like that this year anymore.
No, I think right now there's a great team spirit. There's a nucleus of boys that all want to learn. There's a lot of energy, and I think if we can sort of channel that in the right way and keep everything together. I think injuries are still the biggest threat to us.
And we already got a fair share of injuries, don't we?
And I think when Delta happens, it sort of upsets the apple cart a little bit, but we're going to some 3 big games. I think we've got Dukes, Gooi, and HRC in the next 3 games, right?
Gooi again? No, Gooi.
No, just for the first team.
For the first team, yeah. No, that's
so. There's a lot.
And then we've got the under 18s and under 20s going to Prague.
Yeah, so at some point I think we've got almost all 3 things. So the under 20s, under 18s, and Delta affecting our selections all the way through, with injuries on top, makes it very difficult.
Yeah, it makes it a challenge. Do you think we're going to be short? No, I think we're able to.
No, and I think one of the things that we've learned in the past, and we've learned certainly from last season, is we're not going to push players that are injured to play.
No,
and we make sure that if it means conceding or whatever, that we put the players first and concede that match, because we do have the players on the right day to make that up again.
No, true.
It's
and again, if we finish in the top 4, we still got a good view on anything happening, and we're now in first, but probably going to be second place.
Yeah, they have a game in hand as well, I think. Yeah. But I think as I said, the result wasn't in our favour on Saturday, but the performance definitely showed, in parts exactly what we're capable of as a group.
Well, that's good. You can all, so you're benefiting from the new setup because you're now really dedicated. Last year you had to go in and out with Colts and Futures, but now you're really dedicated to the Futures, right, as coach?
Much more so. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's working. I can get that connection, because I think what we're looking at is like connecting better, mastering our skills better, executing better. And then I think if you look at that, the game on Saturday, if you look at impact, we that's the next stage for us. We've formed, stormed, now are norming, and we've just got to get that part performing.
What do you mean by impact exactly? What is it? What is that?
When everybody knows their role, everybody knows what they should be doing, and they get to that decision quicker as a group, collectively. They fix the problem quicker, or they see the opportunity quicker. And I think we're not there yet. It just takes a little bit too long, and that's the difference, I think.
Well, it's also funny because I'm just going to pick out one player, which is, I think, a little bit exemplary of the jump, right, to seniors. Is that the Bas guy? That's the scrum half, right?
Bas Harbenek.
Yeah, Bas Harbenek. He's been dispensated.
Yeah, he's a Colt.
He's actually a Colt still. Yeah. You saw him, I saw him at least in the first game, being very hesitant and very slow on the ball. I think the last, before Gooi, you saw him already, I need to really be way more aggressive and way quicker on the ball than before.
And I think one of the great things about him is he's good to work with in terms of he's got a lot of patience.
Yeah.
He has an understanding of, how it works. So he's started with 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. He's building up his minutes, and he's hitting those, performance indicators better. His kicks are better, his time, his decisions are better. I think, now, as we said about decision making being a big part of it, he's making better decisions quicker most of the time.
Yeah, so he's got a steep learning curve, and it shows now.
No, and I think this is going to put him in great stead to play for the under-18s team next year in Prague or wherever it is. And he will have perhaps through this one step ahead of somebody else because he puts the time in and gets the results. What will
make you a happy camper at the end of this season, outside of coming here on a regular basis?
For me, I think from a process standpoint, what we've got is it's a sort of a transition year as well. We've got a lot of senior leadership leaving, but what we do have at the moment is some young leaders emerging, and it's getting those young leaders to become better leaders before the end of the season, with something tangible like a good result in the futures, or a lot of people selected for representational games. That would be a good season for me.
Okay.
I think if we can get all of those things right, the silverware should just come.
Sure. It will be a natural result of that.
Because we've got so many younger guys now that it's
yes, we really indeed.
It's less telling them what to do rather than sort of selling things and empowering them to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of the young guys have never had that before.
No. It really shows. I think there's a massive improvement, and it already shows in how many games we're now winning, which we lost last year in the first half. It sets us off. And we always see that the second part is always a little bit better because then it gels a bit more and people understand what it takes to now play. But now it already is happening a little bit.
We've got a much better connection as a futures team, and we're more consistent. I think last year we were quite consistent in our results and performance, but our big challenge was the team changed very regularly. But now we've got a consistent team that's playing a fairly consistent game, and we're getting consistent results. Our set piece is gradually building and building. I think we're up to 95% on Saturday. Line up 100% scrum. Same old. The discipline letting us down again. And
but that's a generic Eemland issue, I think.
Seems to be deeper than just the futures. I think if I look down at the
first team,
Colts,
same story.
The Colts and the juniors as well. That's a longer term project, I think. But
no, we need to do something there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's for sure. Gareth, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
I can release you safely, and you don't sweat as much as last time, so that's good.
I think it was about 34 degrees outside last time, which wasn't my best day, but okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.